All your favorite wrestling shows rolled into one. Welcome to the We Book It podcast. Let's start the show.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Who's Next with NXT, presented to you by the We Book It podcast. I am your host, Virgil. Thanks so much for tuning in to this recap video. Make sure that you hit the like, share, the button, the share button, and the subscribe button. And please do not miss out on any of our other weekly shows that we have, including the AEW All Elite Recap and the Friday Night Lowdown, SmackDown Lowdown, as well as our Sunday pod, and of course the aforementioned Raw Dog Monday Night podcast. So I appreciate you guys so much for helping us grow this podcast. Thank you so much for everybody that has subscribed, everybody that pays attention. Thank you so much. We do this as a love project, passion project. So the We Book It boys will keep bringing that good heat to you. Now, with that being said, the show opens up with Vic Joseph and WWE Hall of Famer Booker T welcoming us as interim general manager. Robert Stone is on the Crow's Nest. Stone mentions the 4 title matches taking place tonight, including a triple threat match for the men's speed title. A triple threat speed title match. That's crazy. After that, the Vanity Project make their way to the ring for the first match of the night, and Dark State follows. So it's a WWE NXT Tag Team Championship match, Dark State versus the Vanity Project. Swipe right. And the match starts off with Osiris and Ricky runs into Osiris. You see a lot of back and forth between these sides. Osiris then catches Ricky and slams him into Brad. Osiris then hits an Irish Rip and a clothesline into the corner. These guys are really, really working hard here between this match. Like I said, then there's a point there where you see Saquon hit an arm drag and then hit Brad with a clothesline. The big spot in the match happens when security comes out to separate everyone, and Osiris hits a crossbody. Then Tony D'Angelo comes out and breaks up the match and choke slams Saquon onto the apron, and he rolls Brad on top of Saquon for the win. And of course, Tony D'Angelo ends up costing Dark State the WWE NXT Tag Team Championships, as the Vanity Project are your new NXT Tag Team Champions. Wow, what a match. That was crazy. The back and forth between those guys, very, very physical match. Tony D'Angelo has been after Dark State for a good while now, hunting them down, and he just cost them the Tag Team Championships. And I think he's going to pick them off one by one in hopes of officially taking them all out, taking Dark State out as a total team. Now, we head back. We head to the back where Sarah Schreiber is with Myles Bourne, and she asked him about how he got that title match. Myles says he made Ethan give him the match, and he smashed Ethan's leg with the chair. Myles then says he wasn't supposed to make it to WWE, but he got here through a tryout. Myles then says people think this is impossible. Myles then says Ethan is sending him down a path, but away from him. Myles then says he is the guy to take the title from Ethan. Myles then says you cannot tell him what you can and can't do. And then last but not least, he says he will be the new NXT North American champion. Keanu Carver then makes his way down to the ring for the next match of the night, and Sean Legacy follows. So Keanu Carver versus Super Sean Legacy is the next match. The match starts off with Super Sean hitting a drop kick but Keanu then stays on his feet. We all know Keanu is a bigger guy. He works like a big man in the match. And again, this match was nothing more than a glorified squash match with Keanu Carver hitting the modified jackhammer for the win. So Keanu Carver is staying on top. They are building him up as a beast. And that jackhammer looks pretty solid, man. You put him in there against younger guys, and it almost reminds me of Kevin Nash, Big Sexy, and his jackhammer, that jackhammer powerbomb. Pause. His jackhammer powerbomb that used to really, really look like it did damage, like almost killed the guy. We then head to the back where Ren Sinclair talks about the tag title match Kendall Grace then says she is going to support Ren. Kehlani Jordan then shows up and says she made history. Kehlani then says she made Lola Vice tap for the first time. Kehlani says that all Lola could do is cry about it. Kehlani says that she is the standout and that you are all standing by. Lola Vice then attacks Kehlani and there is some screaming. So clearly those two are not done yet. I foresee an I Quit match potentially in their future. Something like that, some type of submission match, maybe an ultimate submission match, something in their future because of the stipulation I Quit because she made her tap out. So after that, we get Jasper Troy making his way down to the ring for the next match, and then Eli Knight and Elio Lafleur follow him. After this, we have the Men's Speed Championship triple threat match. So the match starts off with Troy hitting some punches to Elio and Eli, and then he sends Elio into the turnbuckle and sends Eli to the mat. Troy has control pretty much majority of this match. Um, and up until Eli and Elio start kind of working together a little bit. And then, of course, Elio then takes over and sets up for a super half and half. But then Troy grabs Elio. Elio then escapes and Elio hits a crucifix head scissors. Eli then hits a moonsault and Elio gets the 3 count on Troy for the win. So the winner of the triple threat match and new WWE Men's Speed Champion, none other than Elio Lafleur. So after that, Vic Joseph hypes up WWE NXT Champion Joe Hendry appearing next. So we then see Ricky Saints talking about his role on Wildcard, and he says the CW loves him. He then says everyone loves him. He says that he's worried about Ethan's ankle. Ethan then says that they could amputate his ankle and he would still wrestle and beat Myles Bourne. That's big stuff right there. Ricky and Brad then enter the room with their titles. They thank Ethan for his advice. Saints then says he will become the NXT champion after he beats Joe. Saints also says that he, regardless of what Myles has planned, they will make sure that he remains the longest reigning North American NXT champion of all time. I love the fact that these guys are a crew together. I like the fact that they are willing to bet on each other and help each other out. I like a good heel faction. So this just makes sense. These guys all hanging out together. So next up, we take a look at Joe Hendry with the NXT Chronicle. Joe starts off by saying what people think is an overnight success is a long journey. He also says he knows who he is. He says that he is the sum of all of his parts. He also says he is a WWE superstar and he is the NXT champion. He says he loved WWE growing up in Scotland, and he says that he did judo and music as well. He says that he got his degree and toured Europe as a musician, but he says at the age of 24, he decided to start training. He also started training with Robbie Brookside, and he got the first tryout after a year. And they basically chronicalized a lot of what Joe Hendry's success was as far as becoming the NXT champion. And now he's on the mountaintop, and Ricky Starks is looking to knock him down. Next up, we see Zaruka and Fatal Influence walking in the backstage area on a split screen. We then see Damian Priest in the focus of the NXT Origins. Priest says he had years of experience and he could tell them that he didn't need to relearn. Priest then says WWE developed him and whatnot. Listen, let me tell y'all something. I'm not going through all of that. Damian Priest basically did his segment with NXT Origins, and basically this is a spotlight on NXT superstars that have come from NXT to the main roster and is making a big impact on the main roster right now. Damian Priest being one of those. Next up, we see Dark State backstage. They are not happy as they take out several objects in the back. Then we see Lola Vice, and she wants to talk to Robert Stone. She tells Stone that Kehlani thinks she can hang in her element. Lola then says she wants an underground match. And Robert Stone says that he will make it happen at NXT Vengeance Day. I love that. Love that. Next up, Sol Ruca and Zaria make their way to the ring for the next match of the night, and Fatal Influence follows behind them. Next up is the WWE NXT Women's Championship match. And y'all, let me tell you something. The feelings around the ring are palpable. Jacy Jayne and Sol Ruca are about to go at it for the NXT Women's Championship. Unfortunately, the match starts off with Zaria clotheslining Sol Ruca, and she hits an F5 on her. Jacy then hits a rolling elbow for the win. And that's the end of your WWE NXT Women's Championship match. Fatal's Influence, Jacy Jayne wins the match. After that, Zaria pulls Sol to the floor and hits an F5 on her onto the announce desk. Zaria then has some words for Sol and gives her a kiss. Next up, Tatum Paxley then cuts a promo and says her entire life she has tied herself to in knots looking for love. Tatum then says she tried to be what everyone needed from her. Tatum then says if she could change a little more to be perfect, somebody would stay. So basically she is going back and forth with her character and trying to figure out who she is since she lost her championship. Blake Monroe then makes her way down to the ring for the next match of the night, and Thea Hale follows, and it is a WWE Women's Speed Championship #1 contenders match. So the Glamour, Blake Monroe versus Thea Hale. These two have had hella history going back to when Thea Hale beat beat Blake Monroe for the NXT North American Women's Championship. So these two, you knew they were going to have one bang up match, but this time it was just like the last time. Thea Hale beats Blake Monroe for and earns the #1 contender spot in the tournament for the Women's Speed Championships. That is outstanding. Also, very shocking. I wonder what they're doing with Blake Monroe. I wonder what Shawn Michaels has planned and cooked for her. After that, we get part 2 of Joe Hendry chronicalizing his rise as NXT champion and everything like that. Blase, blase. After that, we get the singles match: Uriah Connors versus Chase Hughes, Kale Dixon, and this match is a bang out brawl too. Uriah hits the flying knee for the win to win this match. They then take a look back at what happened between Zaria and Sol Ruca earlier in the night. Jacy Jayne then walks in the back and she says she is better than Sol. Zaria then shows up and she says that since she helped Jacy retain, she owes her. Laney then says she owes her nothing. Jacy then says that the bell rang and she won the match. Zaria then says that she gave Sol a title match and now she wants one next week, or she'll deed to her what she did to Sol. So we will see probably if that match happens next week. After that, we see Brad Baylor and Ricky Smokes, and they say they were talking about going out. Then they tell Saints how great he was on TV last night. Saints then asks if there's anything he cannot do. Saints then says that he can do anything better than Joe Hendry. Next thing you know, Hank and Tank show up. Shiloh Hill then shows up. Brad's steering wheel. Hank then says they were doing what Shiloh told him to do. Then they start to fight. We go to a video package of Myles Bourne and Ethan Page. Then we see Myles Bourne walking in the backstage area, and so is Ethan Page. So we're headed towards our main event of the evening, folks. Ethan Page versus Myles Bourne for the North American NXT Championship. So Bourne then points to Page's ankle collar. And then there's a collar and elbow tie between the two of those. Those two back each other into the corner. They go back and forth for a while. A lot of championship matches in this match, but Bourne basically spent majority of the match in control, handling himself, but he could never get the pin or for the win. The Vanity Project ended up running down, swipe right, ends up running down with the distraction. And Jackson Drake clocks Bourne with his title. All ego covers, but Myles Bourne will not stay down. Hank and Tank and Shiloh Hill run in to neutralize the Vanities. Ricky Saints up top. Joe Hendry equalizes him. Then Bourne blocks the Twisted Grand, knocks Page into the exposed turnbuckle. Bourne again. It's over. He did it. That's right. Myles Bourne wins by pinfall and becomes your new NXT Men's North American Champion, bringing Ethan Page, All Egos North American Championship reign to an end. A sad end at that, because he really has been really a good champion. I think I've enjoyed him as champion. But listen, let me know you guys' thoughts on Sol Ruca and Zaria finally being split, with Zaria costing her a championship shot tonight against Jacy Jayne. Let me know you guys' thoughts on that and on everything else that happened on this episode of NXT. And until next time, y'all, keep those booking pencils sharp